And welcome, Cathy,
Hey,
to the
thanks.
Florida Folk Show.
Thanks for having me. I always love coming out.
All right. Where are you working right now?
Right now, I am at Creative Loafing Tampa. I'm the arts and entertainment editor,
Oh, okay.
where I'm driving them all crazy with all my stuff about Florida all the time.
All right. Now, don't forget to put Ronnie Elliott's gigs in there, because he's hard to find, from time to time.
I'll talk to Ray.
Yeah. Tell me the background of this book really quick, how you decided to do this.
Well, I went to grad school. I have a graduate degree in Florida Studies, which is a real thing. People always say, what'd you have to do, eat key lime pie? And yeah, there was a lot of key lime pie. I don't regret that. But there was also some work. And there's an out-of-print book, part of the American Guide series. It was a WPA project. And in Florida, in every state, they hired writers who were out of work. They had to have no jobs and no prospects, which is kind of all writers. And they hired them to do different things for the WPA. And in Florida, some of the writers we hired to create this guidebook were Zora Neale Hurston, Stetson Kennedy, just some amazing people. We were very fortunate. And the back half of the book were these driving tours that they had, that they wanted to get people to travel locally, get to know the state. And then they stopped publishing this book. Right about the 50s. And I found it in grad school on one of my professor's shelves, and I was just absolutely in love with these tours. So I spent a month, me and my boyfriend, my dachshund, Calypso, jumped into a camper van, and we ran down all the old roads. We put 5,000 miles on that camper in a month trying to see where they were, because they were the main roads in the 30s, right? Because we didn't have the interstate. Mm-hmm. And now, unless you happen to live by one of them, you don't really travel them. Everybody wants to take the interstate, which I think is the most boring thing in the world. So it's a travel narrative mixed with a little environmental, culture, history perspective about Florida, but basically what we saw along the road. We had a lot of fun.
Well, that's fantastic. Yeah, I know that. Actually, today I believe that a lot of times you get places quicker. Getting off the interstate. I'll tell you what. I've run into some championship traffic jams on I-75. It's unbelievable.
Well, if you check the map on your phone, it'll give you a couple of routes, mm-hmm. and it always gives you the shortest route, and that's almost always the interstate. But a lot of times, taking like US 19 up to Tallahassee instead of 75, mm-hmm. it's like a difference of 20 minutes, and you just get to see stuff.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Not boring. It's fun.
How much of Florida in that old project is still out there?
It's all out there. It looks a little different sometimes. Orlando was kind of a dairy area, which I don't think anybody goes to Orlando and thinks, gosh, it'd be great to have some cows here.
Yeah.
It's all still there. One of the things that's changed, we have to fence our cattle in now. We didn't used to. So every tour used to be prefaced with a little information, and in the original book, one of the primary warnings, you would think it would be rattlesnakes, gators, malaria. No. Watch for cattle along the roadway. Mm-hmm, that was the big threat in Florida in the 30s. It's going to hit a cow. So.
Right, and in this year, I should mention this is a record year for accidents that killed Florida panthers and manatees.
Yeah.
Both the two of the most endangered mammals we have here in the state. And
cattle.
But the cattle are doing better.
The cows are in better shape, but they don't get to wander. But yeah, it's. I would love to see a panther. And I've never seen a panther. I see a lot of manatee, and I'm encouraged that we're starting to see more panthers, but that also means they're trying to migrate, and we have these interstates in the way, and they have to cross them, and it's very, very dangerous. So it's...
Well, the best way to see a panther, people ask me all the time, and I tell them, go down to Billy's Swamp Safari on the Big Cypress Seminole Indian Reservation during the months, the times when they have a captive female there that's permanently injured. When that cat goes into heat, male panthers come walking right smack into that place. Just walk down the sidewalk like they were tourists. And we've had pictures of them climbing up the screen, trying to get at that female. It's just unbelievable just to have that. And it doesn't even seem to notice the people or anything else. It's just got one thing on its mind,
A lot like a teenage boy then,
yeah,
really.
There you go. So. Well, that's very interesting, I guess. And then again, just in the last year, we've lost several of our great characters. Howard Solomon, the Solomon's Castle.
Yeah.
Have you been there? I'm sure.
I actually have not been to Solomon's Castle.
Okay.
I am in love with it. I know about it. Now, I wasn't sure where you were going with that, but no, I have not been there. So.
Okay, it's an old castle covered with printers' plates from the old prints, and it's shiny, and it's got a moat around it. And has a mural, actually painted by Guy Labrie, another one who has died in the last 2 years.
Now, have you stayed there at the castle?
Not stayed there, but they do rent the room out there to
I've rented
honeymooners and that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's apparently a surreal experience. I talked to somebody who was out there, and they, it's a big thing. People always debate: was he crazy or was he a genius? Was he a little of both?
I think he was. To me, he was kind of like Dali. He
both.
did everything with welding, and even if you look to walk into his workroom, to me was the same feeling I had when I was at the Edison house and I walked into Edison's laboratory. It's like, whoa, look at this thing. The same with this guy. He had all his tools, all his stuff, and all kinds of crazy things all over the walls. I think it's still there. I mean, it's obviously still there. His daughter, I think, is trying to figure out what do we do now. So.
There should be a way. I wish there was a way that our governor would devote some money for some of these Florida treasures. So
that's a good idea. It's only been in the last year or two that I noticed the Jackass Saloon was down in Yeehaw Junction. That whole
now,
place there has gone down.
It's been bulldozed?
No, it's just shut down and out of business. And I mean, I haven't been there in several months. I don't know if it's been bulldozed or not. But
no, I mean, I think
closed,
they struggle with some ownership issues there because it seems like every time I go, there's somebody different running it. Mm-hmm. Now, did you know Yeehaw Junction used to be called Jackass Junction? That's why they call it the Jackass Saloon.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I did not know that. That's cool. Where can people get this book?
Anywhere. It's you can get it as an ebook. It's in all the big box stores. I always tell people to go to an indie bookstore like Inkwood, Oxford Exchange, Haslam's, but it's traditionally published. I was very lucky to have a good publisher, University Press of Florida, and it is it's not a guidebook. I don't want people to think that it's going to say stop here and go to I don't know, first access, which is a St. Augustine
Make a left
place.
at the Dead Dog or something like that?
No, because that changes so much, right? So more of what it was, I don't know if anybody ever read Bill Bryson's A Walk in the Woods, where he talks about walking the Appalachian Trail. It's a fascinating book. And I tried to emulate that style because it really impressed me, where you have a narrative and you're talking about somebody's very personal experiences, but in that you're weaving all these things you want people to know about Florida. I mean, I just get so upset when we talk about fracking and everything happening with the Lake-O discharges and stuff like that. And I want people to understand that we're so much more than that. We have all this beauty along the roadside. And if you'll indulge me, my big pet peeve is this whole Florida man thing, because I'll tell you what, I did 5,000 miles along all our back roads up in the Panhandle. I didn't meet anybody like that. I met one jerk who was trying to drown a rattlesnake, but everybody else...
What are you talking about, Florida man thing?
Florida man, the idea that we're all stupid criminals and hicks and rednecks and stuff like that. I mean, you have all these books out, about how weird we are.
And of course, why? Because we have
They're all from somewhere else. That's why.
It's part of it but part of even that's why most of the episodes of Cops come from Florida and that sort of thing is because we have the world's greatest public records transparency laws in the state of Florida, so they can come down here and get what they want. On the crime and the weird people and everything else and put it out. Yeah,
a lot of diversity here too. Everybody wants to live here.
Yeah, everybody.
It's awesome.
It's the Florida dream. You want to come down and reinvent yourself. You want a new life, but you get down here and you find out you're still the same person. It's just a lot hotter and prettier. So it's So I like the idea that we can show people that Florida isn't just a bunch of weirdos and freaks, and that there's actually just a lot of beauty and some really fine people here. And that's kind of my passion with the book.
Well, that's fantastic. It's a great read. I've read about half of it. It's really, really interesting. And Cathy Salustri, Backroads of Paradise, A Journey to Rediscover Old Florida. You can, if you go into Haslam's today, you'll see it up there on a table with Craig Pittman's book, Old Florida, and Carl Hyacин's latest, and Tim Dorsey's latest. It's all up there together. So what a in fact we do that. Tim Dorsey party twice a year when we did this year, we did it at Limestone in Mayaca River State Park, and it was fantastic. We had a crowd of people that at Mayaca, we probably had 150 people that just sat there the whole time listening to the music, all Florida folk music, and the whole idea of telling stories and wondering where places were and talking about Florida attractions. That's what they talked to Tim about, because he puts them in his books, and it's a fiction story, but the real Florida is in there.
No, but I mean, Tim and Carl both, with their fiction about Florida, you can pick up more knowledge about Florida than you're going to get in, I think it's 7th grade, they do Florida history with the kids, and they
Fourth grade.
Yeah, Seminoles. But if you really want to learn Florida history, pick up any of Tim Dorsey's books or Carl Hyacin books, and the criminal part of it, the storyline is always just this messed up person, but it's always just a great education, and it's a fun way to learn about Florida.
Well, I thank you for stopping down here
Hey.
today. That's great, and I hope people do buy this book and
Me too.
pay attention.
Thank you so much for having me.
Stick
It's
around a
always
little
fun.
bit too, because I'd like to talk to you later a little bit about what you're doing at Eckerd College, because there's a lot of information about Florida that you cover in some of those classes that you teach. But maybe we got a song here.
No,
Pete.
no. I was going to get the Mungos to do something.
All right.
I know they've been listening intently. What is a song that you